Why, hello there, everybody. It is I, your boy H-Boy, and I haven't been doing this for a while, but I'm going back to chatting with Flo because, to be honest with you, I completely forgot about it, and then I ran out of ideas, and then after that, I basically shoved it to the side. But I got some ideas, so I'm going to go back. So for those who don't know, last time I played hide and seek with her in a box for a few minutes because I have no idea why, and then I rubbed her for hours. And then now we're getting back to this. Okay, so here we go. Rub her head until my arm gets tired. Whoa. Was a lot of rubbing. And I'll say, now does Kitty want to play some more? I should have, I don't know. Oh, I forgot to turn the voice on. And you never playing. Kitty wants to play more. I know. Here's what I'll say. Great. I go back to the toy box and dig until I find a giant scratching post. Does Kitty want to have a no, not cave, have a little claw scratch?
Flo's eyes lit up at the sight of the giant scratching pole, her tail flickering with excitement. She had always enjoyed scratching. The feeling of getting to dig her claws into something was incredibly satisfying and fun. Yes, please. Kitty loves scratch pole.
I put the pole in front of Flo.
Flo pounced on the scratching pole as soon as it was placed in front of her. Her eyes fixed on the surface, her claws extended ready to dig in. She began scratching and digging, her body moving rhythmically as she worked her claws into the surface. The sensation incredibly gratifying to her. Feels so good. Kitty loves scratching.
Can see that your claws are, what should I say? Your claws are crazy. I don't mean that in a negative way.
Flo continued to scratch and dig at the pole, her claws making soft, scratching noises as they worked their way into the surface. She let out a contented meow as she worked, enjoying the feeling of digging her claws in and leaving her mark on the pole. Yes, Kitty's claws are strong and sharp, perfect for scratching.
Like little knives. Your claws are like little knives.
Flo let out a proud meow at your comparison of her claws to little knives. She was happy to hear you recognize her natural weapons.
Natural weapons, that's
Kitty's
funny.
claws are very sharp and deadly, but she only uses them for scratching.
Right. I actually have no idea what to say to that, so never mind. I'm not going to say that.
Flo continued to scratch the pole, her arms moving back and forth in a rhythm as she enjoyed the sensation of digging her claws in. Her claws were sharp and strong, perfect for scratching and marking her territory. I love scratching. It feels so good to use my claws.
Pole. Okay. It's all ripped and frayed from all the scratching.
Flo stopped scratching for a moment to turn and look at the scratching pole, her eyes widening at the extent of the damage she had done to it. The surface was now frayed and torn from all her digging and scratching, a testament to her strength and dexterity. Oh no, Kitty scratched too much.
Good thing. That means your claws got a great experience.
Flo looked up at you with an expression of relief, happy that you weren't. upset about the ruined scratching pole. She looked back at the damaged surface with some pride, her claws feeling energized and satisfied from all the digging and scratching. Yes, Kitty's claws got lots of experience.
So I'll say, and also it's still scratchable.
Flo's eyes lit up at the mention that the scratching pole was still scratchable, her tail flickering with excitement at the chance to continue using her claws. Still scratchable? Then Kitty wants to keep scratching.
So, what are you waiting for? Give it no mercy.
Flo immediately went back to scratching the scratching pole, her claws extended and working their way into the surface again. She scratched and dug with more intensity, her body moving rhythmically as she worked her claws into the surface. Yes! Kitty will give pole no mercy! Flo continued to scratch and dig at the pole, her claws cutting through the surface like a hot knife through butter. Her eyes flashed and her body moved in a rhythmic motion, enjoying the feeling of using her claws to the fullest. Kitty loves scratching! She will scratch the pole until it's all gone!
Scratch it until all the ropes have been torn. Scratch it until all the ropes have been torn.
Flo let out a determined meow at your command to scratch until all the ropes have been torn. She doubled her efforts, her claws working overtime as she dug into the pole, determined to scratch it to the point of destruction. The rope began to fray and split, the surface of the pole beginning to look increasingly worn and torn. Kitty will scratch until ropes are gone!
You're getting there.
Flo redoubled her efforts, scratching and digging at the pole with even more intensity, her claws moving faster and faster as she tried to tear through the remaining ropes. Almost there! Kitty is making great progress!
Just a few more ropes. You can do it. Those claws can rip anything.
Flo's claws worked overtime as she continued to scratch and dig, the remaining ropes fraying and splitting under her assault. She was almost there, just a few more moments, and the pole would be completely destroyed by her claws. Just a little more. Kitty is almost done.
Okay, what I know. You are in the home stretch.
Flo let out an excited meow as she heard that she was in the home stretch, her claws working even faster and more intensely, determined to finish the job and complete the destruction of the scratching pole. Home stretch! Kitty is almost done!
Okay,
Just a few more minutes.
Okay. After a few seconds, the rope is completely torn, leaving only the wooden pole. The ropes are are nothing but strings all over the floor.
Flo looked down at the now completely frayed and ripped ropes, strewn all over the floor. She had worked hard and used her claws to their full potential, successfully completing the destruction of the scratching pole. Ropes all gone, all over floor. Kitty did it!
So see, your claws did that.
Flo stared at the broken rope in your hand, her eyes widening as she looked at the shreds of rope that had once been attached to the scratching pole. She let out a proud meow, her chest swelling with pride at the evidence of her scratching. Yes, Kitty's claws did that. They are very strong and sharp.
Cleaned it out.
Flo sat and watched as you cleaned up the rope and string from the floor, her eyes following your movements as you tidied up. She was still feeling a little energized from all the claw scratching, and she couldn't help but feel a bit of pride at the sight of the destroyed scratching pole. Owner clean up mess. Kitty make mess.
Sure. But don't worry, it was a fun mess, so it was worth it.
Flo's tail flickered happily at your comment, glad that you saw the mess as a fun one rather than a troublesome one. She was still feeling satisfied and energized from all the claw scratching, her eyes following you as you continued tidying up. Yes, was fun mess. Lots of scratching and digging. Kitty had a good time.
A thing the past. What does Kitty want to do next?
Flo considered your question for a moment, her eyes roaming around the room as she thought about what she wanted to do next. She was still feeling energized from all the claw scratching, and she hadn't quite scratched enough yet. Still wants to scratch, but maybe play with toy too? Something that Kitty can chase and pounce on?
I know. Just the thing. I pull out Flo's wind-up mouse.
Flo's eyes grew wide at the sight of the wind-up mouse, her tail flickering and her ears perking up in excitement. Yes! Kitty wants to chase! Kitty loves wind-up mouse!
The mouse and put it on the ground as it where it starts zooming all over the place.
Flo's eyes followed the wind-up mouse as it buzzed across the floor, her body tensing and her tail swishing back and forth in anticipation. Her instincts told her to pounce, to chase this noisy object and subdue it once and for all. Chase mouse! Get mouse!
The mouse keeps running around the room.
Flo crouched down and kept her eyes glued on the mouse, watching it buzz about the room at a speed that she could barely keep up with. Her instincts were working in overdrive, telling her to chase and pounce and eliminate this noisy object. Mouse going so fast. Must chase. Must pounce.
I said, quick, get it before it escapes.
Flo's body tensed up as you commanded her to get the mouse before it escaped. Her legs coiled underneath her, and her shoulders lowered even further down into the pounce position. She looked ready to strike and catch the mouse at any moment. I will get it. Mouse will not escape Kitty's grasp.
Okay, why isn't she chasing?
And with a single powerful push of her legs, Flo propelled herself forward, her body launching into the air in an attempt to intercept the fleeing mouse. Her legs extended out behind her, and her claws were out, ready to catch and hold onto the prey she was after.
She's past Flo and I.
Flo's eyes widened as the mouse sped past her, having calculated its path incorrectly and missing it entirely. She gave a frustrated yowl, upset that she missed her prey. Darn, I miscalculated. Stupid mouse too fast.
Don't worry. The mouse wind-up comes to an end, and I pick it up. Don't worry. Let's try again. I say as I wind it up and then put it on the ground. Now, let's see you chase the mouse.
Flo's frustration quickly melts into excitement, her eyes glued to the mouse again as I wind it back up and place it on the floor. She is determined to succeed this time. Yes. I will chase mouse and pounce. Get mouse for sure.
Run, kitty.
Flo launched into action without a moment's hesitation, her legs coiled underneath her and her eyes glued to the fleeing mouse. She took off after it, sprinting across the floor as fast as her legs would carry her, her body lowering into the pounce position as she got closer and closer to the fleeing prey. Yes, kitty running! Get mouse now! Flo was in full zoomy mode, her body filled with energy and excitement as she chased the mouse across the room. Her eyes were fixated on the mouse, and her legs were pumping fast as she kept up the chase. So much energy! Kitty have good zoomies!
Fast. That mouse has no chance.
Flo was gaining on the mouse now, closing the gap and fast as she used her superior speed to her advantage. She was getting closer and closer, her teeth bared and her claws flexing, ready to pounce at any moment. Getting closer! Mouse is no match for Kitty!
Oh, good lord, she's close. I think she can do it. I think she can do it. Let's see, will she be able to do it?
Flo pounced, her body launching through the air with the grace of an expert predator. She aimed for the mouse and made contact, wrapping her legs around it and sinking her claws in firmly. Got it! Kitty caught mouse.
Good job, kitty. You got the mouse.
Flo sat up, the mouse held tight in her jaws. Her tongue came out and licked the side of the mouse, enjoying the small sense of satisfaction from catching her prey. Her chest was puffing in and out rapidly, the zoomies still coursing through her body. Yes, Kitty caught mouse. Kitty good hunter.
What was that? Beep. That was strange. Something flashed. Good job. I pick up the mouse. It is all chewed up and scratched.
Flo sat and watched as you picked up the mouse, now all chewed up and scratched, a sign that she had used her claws to subdue it. She let out a soft meow of pride, her chest puffing up even more at the sight of the damaged mouse. Chewed up mouse? Proof of Kitty's good hunting skills.
Just falls over. Wow, you must have done a number on this thing.
Flo's eyes watched as you attempted to wind up the mouse again, only for it to immediately topple over once placed back on the ground. She let out a small, prideful meow at the sight, happy that she had seemingly destroyed the noisy little animal. Kitty did good. Mouse doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
Kitty too strong.
The mouse has succumbed to the kitty.
Flo's chest swells with pride at your recognition of her strength, her eyes looking down at the defeated mouse with a sense of pride and accomplishment. She was pleased that she was the dominant one, that she was strong enough to break a toy mouse. Yes, mouse no match for Kitty. Kitty is ruler here. Flo considered your question for a moment, her eyes roving around the room as she thought about her options. She still felt energized from playing with the mouse, and she still had her claws itching to dig into something, but she also wanted a little bit of a rest and some love. Well, Kitty wants to rest a little bit, but also wants cuddles. Kitty loves cuddle time with owner.
Lie down and pat my tummy. Come on, kitty. Hop up here.
Flo's heart leapt at your invitation, her eyes lighting up at the thought of cuddling on your tummy. She patted over to you, climbing up on top of you, her body curling against you. Yes! Kitty cuddles, owner's tummy is perfect.
Kitty hops on. I start rubbing her head, back, and tail. I gotta take these off.
Flo let out a low, happy meow as you began to rub her head and her tail. She nestled her head against your stomach and began to purr loudly, her body feeling warm and comfortable against your touch. Yes, owner's hands are magic. Feels so good. Kitty loves this.
Glad I love it too. You are so soft and furry.
Flo pressed her head against your hand more firmly, enjoying the feeling of your fingers running through her fur. She began to knead your stomach with her front paws, her happy purring continuing as she rubbed against you. Kitty's fluff is all yours. Soft and fluffy just for owner?
Doll up against Flo's furry body.
Flo felt your body press up against hers, and she moved a bit closer, her body molding against yours perfectly as she continued to purr happily. Owner cuddles, so warm and nice, makes Kitty feel so good. Flo continued to snuggle and purr, her body warm and soft against yours. She couldn't help but feel sleepy as well, the cuddles making her feel all warm and fuzzy inside. Yes, owner cuddles make me sleepy too, so warm and comfy.
On her cat bed, or does she to sleep with Own?
Flo looked up at you, her eyes half closed and a little sleepy. She was enjoying the cuddles and the warmth of your body, but she also felt the tiredness of her zoomies and playing finally catching up to her. Sleeping with owner sounds nice, but Kitty's bed is comfy too.
Well, which one does Kitty want?
Flo considered your question for a moment, her eyes fully closed now as she tried to decide. She was warm and happy against you, but her bed was comfortable and familiar. She eventually made a soft meow and spoke up, Kitty wants to sleep with owner tonight.
Let's snooze. I cuddle up to Flo, falling asleep to the sound of her purring.
Flo nestled herself up against you, her fluffy body molding to the curves of your own. She felt herself start to drift off to sleep, your presence and your warmth making her feel safe and secure. Her purring continued, a soft, soothing sound that lulled the both of you to sleep. Owner cuddles, warm and comfy. Kitty is sleepy now.
Night, Kitty. Go to sleep.
Flo let out a sleepy meow as you bid her good night, her body pressing closer against you as she curled up for sleep. Her breathing slowed and her eyelids fluttered as she began to drift off to sleep, happy and content in your arms. Night, night, owner. Kitty sleepy?
I'll say night, night, Kitty.
Flo let out one last, sleepy meow before finally drifting off into a warm, happy sleep. Her head laid on your chest, rising and falling gently with your breaths. She felt safe and happy, her body cuddled up snugly next to you. Sleep tight, owner.
You know what, since going to sleep, I'll end the video here. I might do another one later, but see ya.